All right, welcome to Dual Redundancy's 11th annual Oscar prediction special, where you can hear all the latest about Oscar predictions with way too many hosts with exactly the same predictions. Hopefully not. I'm one of those hosts, David Allen. Another one is
John Berwick, and the third one is
Kyle Bridger. I will say that we are the will wins to these dark horses, which are
Nick Boyle.
Nailed it, Boyle. And Marc, DeSisto.
And Nick Rojas.
Yes, we have some extra voices on tonight. That's the good, the bad, and the watchable. A great movie podcast coming on to talk about movies tonight because we are predicting the Oscars. First off, how are you guys doing? You ready for Oscar season? We're in it.
I honestly, I tweeted this out this morning. I feel like the kid who forgot that the paper was due and then looked at the calendar and saw that I had to do all my research last night. I can't believe it's coming up upon us, and it's late this year. It's late March, and yet I still feel like I'm woefully unprepared. But yeah, you know what? I'm excited for this. So I know Boyle just finished his last Best Picture nominee tonight, so he's the most prepared out of the three of us, I'd say.
Yep. Yeah, I've done a lot of work over the past 48 hours and I'm pretty drained. So I'll take a long winter's nap after this.
Yeah, but I did watch all the previews, so I think I have a
That's
pretty
about the same.
good idea.
The 2-minute preview versus the 3-hour movies. These Oscar movies, man, they're getting long. All movies are getting long.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll keep this podcast nice and short tonight. Spoiler.
no,
It
it never happens. It never ever happens.
But yeah, here we are. We're going to be predicting the 94th Academy Awards that are going to take place this Sunday, March 27th on ABC. While it's our 11th Oscar prediction special, it's our 5th annual prediction bet against the good, mad, watchable. I don't know, guys. You're 0 for 4. We've won the last 4.
I'm 0 for 2.
Yes, that's true. Marc's new, but is this the year? In year 5, are you guys finally gonna do it?
We're going to pull it out.
No. I say the same thing every year. No, this is not the year.
I would roll us because going through the nominees, going through the categories. So all right, this is really predictable. This is going to be an easy slate. And that means one mistake and we'd be doomed. But then, as we know, the past couple of days with these different awards coming out, we've had a lot of surprises. So now I'm more confident than ever that I have no idea what's going on with the Academy or how they pick anything.
Yeah, I'm confident that I'm unconfident here because I joke about the record here. It is usually pretty close. Last year was 28-26 for points. Year before 27-25. So it's always one category. One will win plus 2 points can really, tie things up or change things. And yeah, this year is really, I feel like it started pretty predictable. And I feel like, especially in the last week or two, it's just been thrown into chaos. I feel like, at least for a couple of them. A couple are still pretty predictable. A few of them, and voting's happening as we speak. It just started on Friday. It's going on now. It's a lot could change still, and yet we're gonna put our picks into concrete, and we're gonna have to deal with them. But all right, here's the plan tonight. We are live. We're on Twitch. John is directing a video show that's going to be available on YouTube for playback. And much like the Oscars, we're only going to do a few of these awards live. The rest are going to be tweeted out, available on social media, and we'll edit them together and show them later. You won't even notice. But we're going to get 2 points for a will win, 1 point for a dark horse for the top 8 main awards. And then you get 2 points for the rest of them. You get 1 pick for all the other categories, 2 points for those. And in the end, whoever loses, usually they watch a Razzie film. I got to ask you, any ideas? Is there any any things that you guys want to maybe do? Anything?
Wow. See how you said that? Yeah.
I said Razzie film, and John has, of course, he brings up James Corden. Cinderella is on the table. it could be the film. I was thinking Dear Evan Hansen, but I don't know if we could brainstorm. We don't have to decide right now, but
Dear Evan Hansen, but then you also have to recreate the picture of Ben Platt crying, your best crying face.
Oh my God.
The famous one from that. I think it's like something like that. So
all right, that might be the bet. Post it on Instagram the next day. All right. Well, I looked up the order from last year, and I think we're going to reverse it tonight. But I am going to save us a little bit of work. We're not going to have to read off the nominees this year for most of the categories because on February 8th, when nominations were announced, they had Tracy Ellis Ross and Leslie Jordan. They were hired by the Academy to read off the nominees. So I said, hey, let me go on Cameo. Let me see if I can get them to do it again. And they are joining us live tonight to read off the nominees. So I'm going to throw it to them. Are you guys ready? Here we go. Best Original Screenplay.
Here are the nominees for Original Screenplay. Belfast, written by Kenneth Branagh.
Don't Look Up. Screenplay by Adam McKay. Story by Adam McKay and David Sirota.
King Richard, written by Zach Balin.
Licorice Pizza, written by Paul Thomas Anderson.
And The Worst Person in the World, written by Eskil Vogt and Joachim Trier.
All right, here we go. Best Original Screenplay. I looked it up. You guys started last year, so we start this year. We will reveal our picks first. So, Kyle, what do we have for Best Original Screenplay? Rip off the Band-Aid.
All right. So for our dark horse, we have Belfast. And for our will win, we have Licorice Pizza. But by the way, we went back and forth on this right to the very, very end today. Yeah. David was texting me, getting in his last minute notes to me. But I said, don't worry. Course. We think we got it.
I don't know. Still. I still don't know.
You blew our cover, dude. I said we got it.
I'm going to go through my crazy conspiracy board facts and figures tonight. And this one, I was pretty confident on Saturday when I was starting to write these up. But then last night, the Writers Guild threw everything out for me. And I don't know what to believe anymore. But I'll say for Licorice Pizza, they love the exciting one-offs, you know, like with Her and Get Out, Promising Young Woman. Sometimes they have like a unique film gets it one award in this, and it won the BAFTA. It won over Belfast, so that's good. Belfast, it won the Critics' Choice. It won a Golden Globe for screenplay. But then last night, Don't Look Up won the Writers Guild in a surprise, I think, for mostly everyone. But then it's like, I looked up, what else did Don't Look Up win? Nothing really. So it's like, is this it? Is this one? Or is the Writers Guild a little weird? I mean, last year Borat 2 won. I love Borat, but it won Writers Guild and didn't win the Oscars.
Borat 2 won something? Oh my God.
It won the Writers Guild last year for adapted screenplay. So who the hell knows? I'm really curious to hear what you guys said, because I'm worried this could be the one that really throws things off.
Well, Boyle, you're going to reveal our picks because you are the academic of the group. So you will reveal the best written original screenplay.
Okay. For our dark horse, we chose Belfast. And for our will win, we also chose Licorice Pizza.
Dual Redundancy.
One of us.
Go.
One of us. One of us.
Yeah. That brings a lot of relief, because you know, at least it's not going to be this one. It's going to be some random tech award that we're going to screw up.
I will say this one, if we're going to say something, I don't know about Don't Look Up, but The Worst Person in the World has gotten a lot of internet traction. Twitter has been talking about this movie a lot. And I don't know if we want to go with like a true dark horse. The Vegas odds have it at plus 1,000 right now, with an implied probability of only 9% chance to win. But with how popular it got, you know, international and on Twitter, I think that could be a true dark horse, even though we have a hive mind going on right now with Belfast. and Licorice Pizza.
I definitely
And-
hear you. I always
Yeah.
worry about the Twitter mindset. I was sending tweets to Kyle of like, oh, this person said this one said this. Who are these people? Are they even voting? I don't know, but like, you know what I mean? Rojas, I cut you off. What were you saying there?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I mean, Licorice Pizza comes out at the end of the year. We have a long, extended award season. Did it lose all its momentum? I don't think so. I'd like to think that this is going to be the one. I think the Academy wants to reward Paul Thomas Anderson, darling, making a movie about, local Southern California. I think this has the recipe of a best original screenplay. It's just a little bit unique enough that, like you said, Dave, the Academy likes to reward these kind of movies because it won't probably win anything else. We'll see. But yeah, that's why we picked it.
All right. So we're on the same plane so far. I'll be interested about this next one because this other one I also changed, I think, Saturday. I had it between two and I flipped them. And that's a best adapted screenplay. For this one, I'm going to read off the nominees. For best adapted screenplay, we have Coda, Drive My Car, Dune, The Lost Daughter, and The Power of the Dog. So those are our nominees. It's your turn. What do you got?
All right, Mark, you want to do it?
You want me to go with this one? Adapted screenplay?
Yes, sir.
Sure. With our dark horse, we've chosen The Power of the Dog. But our will win, Coda. And I haven't watched Coda yet, but I did watch the previews. And actually, I'm watching it tonight after this. But Coda to me seems like the heartwarming, true like family storyline kind of plot going on. I think that it's something that people will want to see clean up at the awards. So I think getting in that adapted screenplay, if it doesn't get some of the more highly touted categories, I think this is a great shot for them to win the adapted screenplay.
Yeah, I mean, we chose it over that because partially too because we might think that you guys might choose a little bit differently, and we had to maybe set ourselves apart a little bit. But I saw that, and Dave, this might bleed into you. Yesterday at the WGAs, it won its category, so I'm liking the momentum for it right now. So
yeah, and with the new adapted odds, it is the odds-on favorite to win this category, and The Power of the Dog is the second favorite in the category. Again, not that these end up meaning anything come awards night, but these are the current odds as they stand up to the minute.
So I will say we have those two films, and I was going back and forth. Does this have the edge? Should we have it this way, that way? What we locked in is our dark horse of Power of the Dog and our will win of Coda.
yes, let's go.
And it really was like in the last day or two where we look at the list. Okay, going in, it's like, okay, Power of the Dog won Critics' Choice. It actually got Golden Globe nomination over Coda. It wasn't even nominated, but Coda is really on this trajectory right now. It's picking up steam, and last weekend it won the BAFTA, and last year's BAFTA winner for screenplay, The Father, it ended up winning the Oscar. And I remember at this podcast, we didn't have it listed, and we're like, we're going all in on Nomadland. That's the best picture favorite. That one's gonna win. And then the BAFTA won, The Father won, and we're not repeating that mistake again with this best picture favorite, or at least was best picture favorite, Power of the Dog. And as Rojas mentioned, it won the writer's deal last night. While The Power of the Dog was not eligible for that award, I think it's just the timing is great. I mean, voting is going on right now. It just won the BAFTA last weekend over, I believe, The Power of the Dog. Now you got Writers Guild this weekend. It's just it keeps getting its name in the news. This is when you want to be picking up the steam. But yeah,
for sure. I mean, I think Coda might just do well with the preferential ballot. I think everyone loves the film. I mean, Coda is a really, really nice, heartwarming film, like Marc suggested. And I think that's going to bode well for it if it is going up against something like Power of the Dog, which can be divisive. So
we'll definitely talk about that a little bit later on. That's for sure. A little tease. All right, let's get into the acting awards now. Let's go with supporting actor.
And now here are the nominees for performance by an actor in a supporting role. Corrine Hines in Belfast. Troy Kotzer in Coda. Jesse Plemons in The Power of the Dog. J.K. Simmons in Being the Ricardos. And Cody Smith-McPhee in Power of the Dog.
All right. I think it's our turn, Kyle, to go first. Do you want to read them off?
Yep. So our dark horse is Cody Smith-McPhee, and our will win is Troy Kotzer.
All right. I will save my little stats and figures for a minute here because I have a feeling you'll have at least one of those actors. And I think in the same position we will have him, but we shall see what you guys have.
All right, it's my turn to read these off. So we have for our dark horse, Cody Smith-McPhee. I was trying to add some drama to it. I just couldn't. I was like, maybe something with his name. Code. No. And for our will win, Troy Kotzer from Coda.
So yet again, we have some dual redundancy. We are really coming out hot.
What you could have done, Rojas, is you could have been our dark horse is Coda, you Smith.
Yeah,
Coda's Troy Kotzer.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping the people listening and watching are, at least going to be able to use these predictions because they're matching. I'm hoping they're not hoping for some brawls here because we're so far matching on everything. But
with this category too, though, Troy Kotzer is an overwhelming favorite. He's got a 77% chance to win according to the odds. That clocks him in at around minus 350 for you gamblers out there, if your books let you do that. I mean, this is his reward to lose, basically, unless he has ill will with the Academy, one way or the other. It seems like he's just a total shoo-in.
Yeah, I wrote that this one's like locked up in write it in pen. He won the BAFTA, won Critics' Choice, he won the SAG. If we're looking at the percentages for SAG, it's the weakest of the 4 acting categories, like winner wise, like only 66% of the winners of SAG win the Oscar. But like I said, picked up BAFTA, Critics' Choice, other things. And with SAG, Coda won ensemble too. So there is a lot of love amongst the actors, which are a big branch of the Academy and will be voting in the acting categories, that they love Coda and they love his performance. And after watching Coda, one of my favorite performances from the film was him. He was my MVP of the film. So I think that's well-deserved. As for Cody Smith-McPhee, I'd say he's probably the next best in the category. One of my favorite parts of Power of the Dog was his performance, his character that he created. He won the Golden Globe, but that was so early on. It was a non-televised event. I don't know if anybody even knows who won the Golden Globes outside of me when I looked these up. So I just think it's Troy's to lose right now. But, if you're going to pick somebody, this Oscar night is shaping up to be, at least so far, Coda versus Power of the Dog. So go all in on that. Yeah. See, but I know we picked, Cody McPhee here. Any thoughts on Jesse Plemons, who's also in the in this category for Power of the Dog?
Boyle's favorite performance of the year, right, Boyle?
No, I mean, in my opinion, Dave said a lot of the things I was thinking, just that these are the best performances, I think, in this area for who's, nominated. And, Jesse Plemons, my boy, but not in his performance. I don't think he did a big enough role. I can't speak for J.K. Simmons and I can't speak for
Ciarán Hinds.
Yeah, I mean, I saw
Karen?
Belfast, but like, I just don't think it even stands. Like, so no, I mean, these two are the ones who deserve it, and by all means, like, Troy deserves this over anyone. Like, his performance was fantastic. So
I just want to ask. I just want to ask.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was just going to ask Kyle, how much money do you think Jesse Plemons' agent bribed the Academy to get him nominated for that performance? Any spitball, ballpark, anything?
I don't know, man, but I guarantee you, it's Kirsten Dunst and Jesse Plemons is like in the deal books is like a pair now. You don't get one without the other.
That's right. That's right.
It's interesting. Yeah, there's a couple,
I can't believe he's nominated for this. I think there was plenty of other actors in the supporting role that could be thrown in over him. His
Plemons,
performance was pedestrian compared to the rest of the cast alone. Like his individual performance didn't stand out at all. Like now I'm supposed to take it seriously as a nomination. He's just going there to hopefully get some free food and some free drinks. He is not going home with an award. Jesus.
And then I will say J.K. Simmons, again, love him as an actor. I didn't really like Being the Ricardos to begin with, but I also didn't think his performance in that really stood out at all. So I was really kind of surprised to see that there, even though I don't know.
Plus, he already has an Academy Award. Let's spread the love here.
Spread the love.
Exactly. Well, let's spread the love now to Best Supporting Actress nominees.
Here are the nominees for performance by an actress in a supporting role.
Jessie Buckley in The Lost Daughter. Ariana DeBose in West Side Story. Judi Dench in Belfast. Kirsten Dunst in Power of the Dog. And Ingenue Ellis in King Richard.
All right. I believe, is it
Dave,
you guys'?
wait, but I appreciate that our announcers sound exactly the same as they did previously, because you did say you got them live. So I just have to appreciate the authenticity.
Well, they're pros. I mean, they work in the industry. They can read off scripts, no problem.
They probably have done spots in the Rhode Island market.
Yeah, maybe. If they're lucky. But all right, Good and Bad and Watchable. It's your turn, I believe, right?
It is, Kyle. When you say it back to me like that, I just realized, like, wow, that really sounded like a real hard.
No, I'm just being.
Hey, I'm doing spots in the Rhode Island market. Get your tickets today, everybody. Hey. All right, so our dark horse, we went with a movie I just saw last night, Ingenue Ellis from King Richard as our dark horse pick, and then the will win from Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, Ariana DeBose. Great performance. But that's what we picked. Boyle and I, we saw West Side Story together. I know the rest of the guys. Mark, I know you saw it.
I saw it. I watched this whole movie. I did
all of it.
Not just a preview. I thought it was all right, but her performance definitely stood out. I've been talking gambling odds all night. Why not keep it going? She is the overwhelming favorite, the highest favored favorite out of any category that we've read off thus far, with an implied probability winning of 94%, clocking in at minus 1600 for the odds. Ariana DeBose, I mean, she mopped the floor with this. She did great. It was a good performance on a classic story. And then as far as the others, I'm sure they did great. I'm a big Jessie Buckley fan, but I mean, she's not going to touch this one. Kirsten Dunst, whatever. I think this one's going to be. I think Ariana DeBose is just going to mop the floor with everybody else. Like I just think this is a bloodbath of a category. Like they might as well not show up. That's what I.
Wow. Think. All right.
Bloodbath.
With all that being said, we got one of those names. We have one that's not the same. We're finally switching things up here.
Let's go.
Time.
All right. Our dark horse. Let's start off with that one first, because that's the one that's different. Kirsten Dunst. Our will win is Ariana DeBose. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Dark horse doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does not matter one bit.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even know why we chose Kirsten Dunst. That's how little
to be honest,
it means.
To be honest, I don't know either. To be honest, I was like, you know what? I saw she has some online support because from like past films, like she should have been nominated for this, and she got some other nominations with Critics' Choice, Golden Globe, SAG nominations. So that's all good. She has some support with nominations, but it doesn't matter. I mentioned Troy in the last category, locked up, write it in pen. This one, put it in permanent marker. Like it's BAFTA, Critics' Choice, Golden Globe, SAG, every award that there is, she has won it. SAG,
Sweet.
70% of the time, the winner of SAG wins this. So there's that. And for Critics' Choice, the last 14 years, they've always matched up, except for last year. That was the one time it didn't match up. But over 14 years, it's always the Critics' Choice winner. So it's Ariana DeBose. There, done. What else is there left to say?
Nothing.
Yeah. Also, people love Ariana DeBose, dude. Everyone loves Ariana DeBose. Whenever
it's me. I'm people.
Yes.
So there you go. I don't much have more to say about that. Let's move in now to Best Actor.
The nominees for performance by an actor in a leading role are Javier Bardem in Being the Ricardos, Benedict Cumberbatch in The Power of the Dog, Andrew Garfield in Tick, Tick, Boom, Will Smith in King Richard, and Denzel Washington in The Tragedy of Macbeth.
All right, it's our turn, right, Kyle?
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you do it. All
right. So this was one that I was going back and forth in my mind about, but we have Dark Horse as Andrew Garfield, and our will win is Will Smith.
It has Will in the Will win is Will. Duh.
Will win.
Will.
Right?
That's our only reasoning. There's no
Will
other
win.
stat. Don't worry, there is more. But sorry, Kyle, what were you saying?
No, I mean Andrew Garfield did really well in Tick, Tick, Boom. So I mean, I could really see it going either way to me, but could be like Will's been there forever, so they give him the award. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the It's Time award. It's the Leo. He maybe should have won for some other performances, but let's give it for The Revenant. Like
That's just the perfect way to put it. Yeah.
I like Will Smith. I thought the performances in King Richard was okay. I didn't think it was knock it out of the park, like amazing, or grand slam, I should say, to keep the tennis terminology there. But I thought it was good. I don't know if I thought it was his best performance. I thought he's had other good work, but I'm curious to hear what you guys think.
Wait, let's go back to the. Hang on.
A grand
Would
slam.
a grand slam be? I mean, the grand slam tournaments. But if we're doing
that's
tennis,
what I was going for.
Ace.
I thought grand slam was what you get at Friendlies.
Let's say
Friendlies.
I typed in
Speaking
grand
of-
slam on Google. The very first thing that comes up: grand slam tennis.
That's just in your algorithm, dude.
Kyle, that's Google,
What?
man. That's
In my sports algorithm where I've
Sorry.
never looked up any sports in my life?
Exactly.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right. Let's get back to the
Regular
what we're actually
scheduled
doing about
program.
Oscars tonight. I'll do my stats in a minute. I want to hear what you guys have for Will Win Dark Horse.
Mark, take it away.
Okay. For our dark horse, with a win probability of 9%,
Oh,
odds at plus 1,000. Tick, tick, boom! Andrew Garfield is our dark horse. And our will win, with a stunning implied probability of 85%. Mr. Will Smith. So we have yet again mirrored our picks.
Yeah.
I gotta agree with you guys though. This probably isn't Will Smith's greatest performance in his career, but it's time.
I would say this is Will Smith, aside from Ali, him doing the most showy acting in quite some time, I'd say.
And
I think his other two best performances, maybe you guys will agree with me with this, is Pursuit of Happiness.
yep, that was one of them. Yep.
Yeah. And then Ali, just because of he's playing such a prominent figure. But to me, I really like this performance because it like I know this is cliche, but and this is the last thing I'll say. You kind of forget sometimes that it's Will Smith. So I liked it, but I am a sap. So
I will say that I'm all in on the dark horse.
Yeah.
Like I would love
I would like
Garfield
it
to
the
take
dark horse
this.
one. I would be
I
excited
really
about
would
that.
like him to take it. Yeah, like just another like I love Will Smith, but like this just I'm kind of when you were talking earlier, Dave, about like a spectacular performance, like Garfield put on a spectacular performance. Like that, he had to sing, he had to act, he showed emotion. Like Will Smith, I kind of agree with some comments people have already said, is that it wasn't as powerful as he's done before. And so if he wins, it 1000% is like you guys said, because of he's just at this point, he needs to get one, I guess. But like, that's crummy. Give it to Garfield. He also is in a Spider-Man.
But Boyle, how are we able to perpetuate this cycle of giving it to people after their best performance has already happened? Come on. Stick with the
At a
script.
movie? I
Oscars
don't
are
know.
always
I mean-
so delayed
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
I will say, Mark said the odds, and I'll say, Smith has won BAFTA, Critics' Choice, Golden Globe, SAG. The last 15 of the last 17 winners of SAG have matched. It's the strongest SAG stat, over an 80% win rate, except for last year. Last year, in my notes, I wrote, the dark horse doesn't matter. It's Chadwick. It's locked up. And we all know what happened last year.
Yeah.
Your dark horse of Anthony Hopkins won. So anything is possible come Oscar night. Garfield, he won the Golden Globe in for the comedy musical category. And he's had a pretty terrific run the past, few months, whether, he was in The Eyes of Tammy Faye. He was obviously in this. Spoiler for the two people out there that don't know, he was in Spider-Man. A lot of people love that performance. So it's like he's been in the news a lot. He's been on the talk show circuit. He's around. He's campaigning.
And
It's
his PR is
possible.
really good too. Like he talks about a lot of like real things. He's very personable. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I really think if he wins, it's that comparison to the father last year. Like it's like Anthony Hopkins did the better performance when we were like, wow, he deserves to take that. And so that's why I'm hoping Garfield takes it.
It's Will Smith, guys. Come on.
It is, but hey, you never know.
9% is
Never know.
9%, man.
Javier Bardem being the Ricardos coming in.
Oh, God.
Power of the cat.
Yeah. All right, let's move now to Best Actress. Nominees?
And now, the nominees for performance by an actress in a leading role. Jessica Chastain in The Eyes of Tammy Faye.
Olivia Colman in The Lost Daughter.
Penelope Cruz in Parallel Mothers.
Nicole Kidman in Being the Ricardos.
And Kristen Stewart in Spencer.
All right.
Parallel Mothers. That was a movie?
It was.
Yeah. It
Wow.
for sure was.
I believe it actually got a couple nominations, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Maybe like another somewhere in there. Yep, it got another nomination. So double nominee. But do you guys have it as one of your will win and dark horse? You guys read them off.
Boyle, it's your turn.
My turn. All right. So for the dark horse, we have Olivia Colman. And for the will win, we have Jessica Chastain.
Okay.
I will say that I am one of the leading members of the Olivia Colman fan club. And I thought, all right, I didn't watch the entire movie.
I didn't watch the whole trailer, but I got a good
how that
idea.
started. Yeah.
No,
I
but
saw the
I've
poster
seen-
and I was
yeah, and I was sold. She's actually low on the probability. She had only a 16% chance to win, but I think she did. The problem is her movies with these roles extremely sad. Like with last year, we had The Father, which pulls at your heartstrings. The Lost Daughter is not fun. This is another heartbreaking movie, right? So it's like, okay, like, yeah, this performance is elite level. but like, holy shit, we're so sad right now.
I know. Well, Mark,
Why don't
there's
we
a
cheer this
reason
up a
it's
little
not
bit?
called the Lost and Found Daughter. It's the Lost Daughter. Okay.
Yeah. Right, you are. But
Spoiler.
yeah, again, another solid performance, but probably for a movie that won't be as highly touted just due to its sad nature. So don't let the don't let the subject matter deter you away from a good performance.
I have to say, before we even read off ours,
Yeah.
that like I really could see this category going anyway.
Yeah.
Because it's just so random, I feel like.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes, this is the toughest one of the acting bunch. There's so many precursors that just didn't match up at all this year. I mean, none of the nominees at BAFTA even carry over. There's not even a nominee of the BAFTAs that is at the Oscars. I mean, many thought Lady Gaga going into the season, House of Gucci, was going to be one of the nominees. Not here. And last year I don't think we had Frances McDormand as one of our two choices, and we're like, it only has the BAFTA, and she just won for 3 billboards. Like, who could it be? And so there's a lot of I don't know with this category. This one is tough. With that being said, our will win Jessica Chastain, our dark horse Olivia Colman.
No!
Yeah, this
What a
is
lead up.
crazy.
Yeah.
Because I
Nice.
thought
We
there
mixed
was
it up a little
really
bit.
going to be a difference
Guys,
here.
For the other this category is the closest
Yeah.
so far, but Nicole Kidman is the second odds-on favorite, which I don't really get.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Again.
It sounds like a Will
Kristen
Smith thing.
Stewart. Kristen Stewart has the same odds as Olivia Colman, so that's a complete toss-up between them.
Mm.
I will say,
I don't know. I think this category could be mayhem.
Yeah, and my dark horse is the one I've been, thinking about here with Olivia Colman, or I had a third as Kristen Stewart, just because she won all these early critics groups, but none of the big precursors came through for her. And I'm like, there's been this like late surge of like, how is she not being nominated at the Critics' Choice? How is she not nominated at BAFTA? And it kind of like fueled this fire to get her nominated for the Oscar. I'm like, could she go all the way with this? Kind of like how Ben Affleck he was snubbed for Best Director. Argo has to win Best Picture and Screenplay and all this stuff now. And that's what I thought. Like, is Spencer possibly, building this fire to win Best Actress? But then I saw, like, since SAG's birth, no one has won Best Actress without receiving a SAG nom. So it's like, that's not good for Kristen Stewart. But stats are meant to be broken. The reason I think we went with Coleman, at least for me, is never count her out. Like, if we go back to the last few years, when it was Glenn Close for The Wife versus her for, I believe, The Favorite, she was like this like underdog, and she was the surprise win for that category. Since 2019, she's been nominated 3 times. She just won an Emmy for The Crown, and people just love her speeches, her off-the-cuff remarks. I could easily see, just because they like Olivia Colman, they're going to vote for Olivia Colman. So that's why I'm like, she could do it. It's possible. But yeah, Jessica Chastain, she won the SAG. They usually match 70% of the time. Critics' Choice, that's the only real wins we're going off of here, because this category has just been so crazy. I will say, maybe this is a preview of the makeup category. I make these images and I send them to John. John gets the predictions from the Good and Bad Watchable, so that way we don't know each other's predictions. But that means he has to make the images for the other one. Sometimes he can use the same exact one. And for this one, technically, he could have used the same one, but the makeup was so good that he didn't recognize it. Looks like.
Oh no, I had no idea. Oh wow, I was worried that was going to happen
Jessica
too.
Chastain is the same one.
Oh,
That's why we have
no.
2 different images. It's okay, John. That's just how good the makeup of the performance is here in the image. I thought it was a little interesting fact here. But
Didn't she say she like did a bunch of stuff to her skin with all the makeup? So she's probably hoping she wins an Oscar just to make up for it.
yeah, make it all worth it for all the scars she's going to have for the rest of her life. But yeah. It also is interesting that in this Best Actress category, they usually like to award like a film that has like its only nom, like Iron Lady or Judy, but that's like this year though. They're all that. They're all these films that are not nominated for Best Picture. So it's like this interesting thing where it really, it could be Spencer, it could be Lost Daughter, it could be Being the Ricardos, because none of them are up for Best Picture in this weird category for Best Actress. But yeah, all right. Got 2 categories left. This is it here. Best Director.
Just 2 more categories left.
Woo! This is so exciting. The first is for achievement in directing, and the nominees are Kenneth Branagh, Belfast.
Ryusuke Hamaguchi, Drive My Car.
Paul Thomas Anderson, Licorice Pizza.
Jane Campion, The Power of the Dog.
And Steven Spielberg, West Side Story.
Kyle, you were doubting me that they were not here live. Yet how would they know that there's only 2 categories left? They're listening to the podcast with us.
No. They're good. They are good.
That's why we pay them the big bucks. Unfortunately, we ran out of money. They're not going to be here for the last category, so we'll have to figure something out. But Best Director, I'm losing track here. I believe it's our turn to rip the Band-Aid off. Kyle, what is our Best Director picks?
Our dark horse is Kenneth Branagh, and I don't even know if I pronounced that right. And our Best Director will win is Jane Campion.
Right here. Months ago, it was Belfast versus Power of the Dog. I feel like Belfast has slipped. Power of the Dog has also maybe possibly slipped a little bit, but that's still in one of the positions here. But for this category, we're going with one from each. Hopefully, one of them will win and get us at least 1 point here. But Kyle, why these 2?
I think Kenneth Branagh is like in the business and the industry, well known, well liked. I could see him going that way. It's kind of a unique outlier film. Like it's heavily nominated, but I don't know how many people have seen it. So he's got that going on. But I think Jane Campion, all the momentum is kind of flowing in her direction, even though she's saying stupid things to, ruin it for herself. But
she really had a weekend where it was like Saturday night. People loved her on social media because she says she spelled it out herself, saying that Sam Elliott was a bitch. And the very next day on Sunday, she put a foot in her mouth and said that, a very problematic speech involving the Williams sisters. And it's like, just shut up. Don't say anything.
Yeah.
But that's all you had to do was nothing.
So who knows if that is going to influence anything? Because again, voting is going on. So who knows? But before we get into that, before we get into stats, guys, what are your picks?
I believe it's my turn, right, guys? So for our will win, I'm going to go will win first. We have Jane Campion. But for our dark horse, she lost to him in 1993. They're competing against each other again. Steven Spielberg, our dark horse for West Side Story.
Okay.
Could it be Campion's Revenge 3 decades later?
Look at that face too. He's like, I'm up to no good.
Oscar night 1993. She's I gotta devise a plan. I will wait till 2022. He will never see it coming.
I mean, Dave, you said all the things that we would say about Jane Campion. So one thing I just want to point out is 1993, they're nominated for Best Director for Steven Spielberg. He wins for Schindler's List. Jane Campion directed a movie called The Piano, which is the most Oscar movie I've ever heard of all time. A 1993 period drama, starring a few people. The film focuses on a mute Scottish woman who travels to a remote part of New Zealand with her young daughter. And the poster is a woman in Victorian dress next to a piano on a beach. I'm like, you got to be kidding that. No offense.
It checks. Yeah.
Let's talk numbers on this.
Yeah.
The the field has they're all neck and neck with each other, all clocking in around the same probability. It's just unfortunately Jane Campion is a massive favorite in this category. But now that we brought up last year and how many massive favorites ended up getting upended, and there's not much insight. Licorice Pizza, Belfast, and West Side Story have the exact same odds.
Yeah.
So that's your next for the field. Right after that, I could easily see Jane Campion getting upset just because of those boneheaded comments she's been making. Again, all she had to do was nothing. And now maybe we have some pettiness getting into our beloved award show. And maybe we can get some excitement out of this. I don't know.
Yeah. It'll be really interesting, especially, we went through the predictions tonight, at least for the top awards. Power of the Dog is going down. Whether it was screenplay, we didn't have any will wins for acting. Maybe in the tech categories, another big tech film will be sweeping the awards in Dune, but could they only give director to her and that's it? I feel like that's an odd thing to do. It's maybe, but if you look at the past awards, BAFTA, Critics' Choice, Golden Globe, New York and LA Film Critics, and the DGA matches nearly 90%. The Directors Guild usually always matches, but I believe it was just 2 years ago. Sam Mendes, 1917. He won and, didn't win the Oscar. So you never know. I think for us, the runner-up was tough for this because as Marc was saying, they're all pretty much on a level playing field. We're writing that it doesn't matter because we think it's Jane, but we don't know. Belfast is just a very, personal story. It was an early favorite. Branagh, as Kyle mentioned, is kind of a favorite in the industry. He's been nominated 5 times in various categories, also all the way back in 1990 when he was nominated for Best Director. So he's been around for a while. Is it his time for Belfast? I don't know, but
I will say when I hear people talking about West Side Story, though, it's mostly talking about the directing and how well Steven Spielberg did with it. So it really could be, it could go that way. I could see it going that way too. So.
All right. Well, here it's time. We have this last category, and unfortunately, our 2 presenters had to leave a little early tonight, but we got another special presenter to read off the Best Picture nominees. And the nominees are
Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story.
Wow.
I think I've heard that voice somewhere, man.
Yeah. Have you? Yeah.
Maybe if you've been driving around Rhode Island, Kyle.
The pauses just perfect. Really just milking it out. We're just all right.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's see here. All right. Best Picture. We got a lot to say with this. I have a laundry list of stats and notes and probability. I'll get to that in a minute. I'll also want to talk about some of the films in general that are nominated for Best Picture. But before we get there, it's your turn, guys. What are the will win and dark horse that you have for Best Picture?
Go for it, Boyle.
Okay. For the dark horse, we chose The Power of the Dog. And for the will win, we chose Coda.
Should we do it? Should we say ours and then talk?
Yeah.
Again, another one that we were thinking about all weekend. Where are we going with this? Which one is going to be the winner? Early on, weeks ago, Power of the Dog, it looked like it could not lose. It could lose, and we're kind of hoping it does because our will win is Coda, our dark horse is Power of the Dog.
No.
This is awesome.
It's going to come down to Best Original Song. That's what this is going to, whole thing going to be. We're going to watch a Razzie movie for the Best Original Song.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what's going to happen this year.
I think last year was production or something like that.
It was production. Yeah. Am I gonna? Yeah. It's so frustrating, but yeah, that's what's going to happen. There we go.
It never gets old.
Well, I mean, we've been talking odds all night, and the line has shifted a lot. When it originally opened, the Power of the Dog was the odds-on favorite at -300. Since then, with the emergence of the other award shows, the Power of the Dog is now only resting at a measly -140, with Coda nipping at its heels at +105. The implied probability is Power of the Dog at 58%, with Coda at 48%. Out of the top two, out of all the other categories, this is the closest by far. I don't. Best Picture, Power of the Dog. I really don't want it to win. So I mean, just anything but that movie would be great for me. I just didn't like it. and it's kind of making me mad. Where I'm like, did everybody watch the same movie? I was like, this is Best Picture. Like with all of these other options, like we saw Licorice Pizza, Dune. I saw like anything else. Like you're gonna look at me and tell me that Licorice Pizza wasn't better than Power of the Dog? Like it's ridiculous.
The entire list of Best Picture nominees are better than The Power of the Dog.
Oh, Boyle.
Wow.
I will say, I don't know if I, especially because Don't Look Up is on this list, so I don't know if I buy that. But
I would rather watch that than The Power of the Dog.
Okay.
I like Don't Look Up better than Power of the Dog, honestly.
That's what I'm saying.
I enjoyed it more.
I guess. Yeah, as a better made film, I would probably still go Power of the Dog over Don't Look Up.
Yeah.
Regardless, though, I will say with Power of the Dog, because we're talking about it, there were parts I liked. There were scenes I liked. There was characters I liked. As a whole, it did not work for me. I thought the pacing, it was hard to get through, in one sitting. Power of the Dog. There was definitely parts I liked, but yeah, to be the favorite, it just wasn't there for me. There was a couple of films on this list that I like better, whether it was Licorice Pizza, Dune, as you were saying, West Side Story even. But I'm gonna go through some pros and cons here. I got a lot to go through. I'll get your reactions as we go through, but I'll give the pros and cons for both of these for winning here. For Coda, the pros. It started with the SAG Ensemble win. The acting branch is the largest branch of the Oscars. SAG doesn't automatically equal a win. It's, 50% of the time. You get a lot of weird, choices sometimes that they'll throw in for ensemble, but that's nice to have, the SAG. It really changed with the Producers Guild on Saturday. That really, I think, gave Coda momentum because the Producers Guild, the PGA, they share the preferential ballot with the Oscars. And I think that helps Coda so much because, as Kyle was saying, I think earlier tonight, Coda is more universally liked than I think Power of the Dog is just so divisive. As we were saying, people love it, people hate it. It's on two ends of the spectrum. But with Coda, I feel like everyone's like, yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like it. So I think that's going to help it because with that preferential ballot, it just takes, to be on your second favorite or your third favorite on the list. That could be enough to give it that win. Is the one that's universally liked. Do you guys agree with that?
100%. I haven't heard a single person say a negative thing about Coda, except for when it comes to this specific award. I've seen some of those movie, Letterboxd and other places where people are constantly complaining that it would be an atrocity if Coda won because it's just too simple of a movie, which is so frustrating to hear because this is the reason why the Oscars keep dipping in ratings every year. And yet we are excited about the Oscars every year because we love talking about movies, but the larger audience is like, do they really care about Three Billboards or do they care about Nomadland? No, they like movies like this. And it's so frustrating that in its own awards body, like it can't win because it's just, it's too likable.
Yeah, I hate, as I was seeing it today, especially after the WGA and PGA this weekend, that these films asked, 2 months ago, people would say, I love Coda. And then today people, I don't want Coda to win. Coda doesn't deserve to. And it's like, it becomes like a villain in this story. It's because they just like Power of the Dog better and they want that to win. So if Coda wins, it's it's a disaster. But like asked 2 months ago, it's like, yeah, I really loved Coda. So it's like this weird thing how, films become villains in this story when it becomes this film versus that film.
It does.
But Producers Guild, they usually match up. 2/3 of the winners of that win Best Picture. the thing though is Producers Guild is very an American voting body. Oscars are a bit more international. But then Coda won the BAFTA for screenplay over Power of the Dog, over Dune, over Drive My Car. It won the WGA. So it's like WGA, SAG, PGA. It has a lot of these guilds going into it for Coda. With that being said, though, it only has 3 total nominations. So it's like, what happened between when nominations came out that it didn't have more love from the Academy? Like, sure, it's going to pick up the one for Troy and possibly the one for screenplay, but why didn't Marlene Matlin get nominated, especially in the Best Actress race that was all over the place? She's a previous winner. She's a star of the film. You know, like, it's interesting that like this film didn't pick up more stuff in other categories, whether it was editing or something like that. It's just, so I don't know. I'm a little worried with that being said. It's like only had 3 nominations. Could one of them be the win for Best Picture? What do you guys think?
Could they win all 3 that they're nominated for? That'd be pretty wild.
That'd be crazy. 3 for 3. But
Yeah, I mean, Boyle and Mark, I probably agree with me with this. You look at the 10 nominees, if you were to recommend one movie to anybody, just anybody at all, it would be Coda, right?
1000%. I mean, I literally just watched this yesterday, and it just is the clear winner. Like you're like, all right, yeah, this is it. This is just everyone, and you could access it at home too. But yeah. I wish I could have seen this in the movie theater. Honestly, I wish I could have.
I think for recommendation, I would feel good with recommending Coda because I feel like it could click more of the boxes. Like I know that my parents would probably like this. I know, this person in middle of the country would like it. I feel like it's a more universal story than Dune.
Yeah,
it's like I like,
absolutely.
But like, will everyone like Dune?
It's like the content sort of standpoint, like Boyle's saying. Like I mean, this Coda doesn't immediately tune out or shut off like a specific wing of like viewer. Like it's the safest pick.
Yeah,
this is like properly managing your money and like not spending too much on your paycheck like week in and week out. Like this is like the safe little investment that you're going in. Your parents are gonna like it. Your girlfriend or boyfriend is gonna like it. Your friends are probably gonna like it. They might not love it, but like they're not gonna look at something like this and say, "No, I'm out." Boo.
Yeah.
And that's how Power of the Dog felt.
Yeah. It's divisive, and
Power of the Dog was just boring. I just it elicited no emotions out of me but boredom. It was tough for me to get through. It was 2 hours. It felt like 4. Like it was a bad. It's just that again, the acting performances were great. I thought the cinematography was just fantastic in The Power of the Dog. It's not a completely bad waste of time movie. There are fantastic elements to it, but the plot and the plot was just doesn't click for me there. And I don't even know why it's like that divisive. I was like, it's just kind of boring. It's the mellowest of melodramas I've ever watched. And I was like, this is what's getting people talking. This is our front runner. Like that story's just not even like that creative. Like give it to someone else. Like,
is this Sam Elliott on the podcast right now? I'm just kidding.
Sam
I'm kidding.
He didn't like it for different reasons.
Yeah.
Mine, it's a rational take where it's just not much happens. And I'm like, couldn't we give this to like any other story? Like something where they put in a little bit of effort?
Well, as I was saying, with Coda, 3 nominations. The one with the most nominations is Power of the Dog with 12. Pros and cons for that. I mean, I'll start off with the pros. It won the most at the Critics' Choice. It won Best Picture at the BAFTAs and Golden Globe. It won the Directors Guild. The biggest stat, the one I'm actually going against this year, is 95% of Best Picture winners have a director's nom, 95% have a screenplay nom, and 83% have a film editing nom. The only one that has all 3 this year is Power of the Dog. So, but again, what happened with Coda? Like, if we did the nominations now, would the editing have gotten in? I don't know. They had the timing of the swell of nominations could have been different.
But if anything, like, what do you need? from a movie. And this is what makes me angry about the simple film thing is like, what do you need? You need a good actor. What they have that. You need a good script or storyline. They have that. So why? I mean, what else do you need? You got somebody. I mean, if we had that at Ithaca College as a student film, we'd be like, yes, we got something, So why not? Why not?
Yeah. And
I just compared the Oscars to Park.
They're the same. They're the same. I don't see any difference.
Those are fun. Those are fun to attend.
Yeah. But yeah, while it has the most noms don't equal wins. With Netflix, that's especially true. Last year we saw it with Mank, led with 10 nominations, just won 2. The year before, 2 films had the most nominations, but 10 nominations for The Irishman, Goose Egg.
Well, here's the problem with Netflix, and that sums up Netflix in a whole. They can't. It's like everything's a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
The Power of the Dog. Everyone's talking about it, and then it goes away. It's like, or it's slowly losing. Every other series they have, it's big for a weekend, and then no one's talking about it. How pissed do you think Netflix is going to be that they're going to get beaten by Apple TV Plus?
Oh,
trying for years.
Rojas was talking about that before because when I was on one of my temper tantrums about The Power of the Dog being so highly touted, I was like, hopefully, being a Netflix movie is counted against it. And Rojas was like, yeah, but then, Coda is Apple TV. So it's like, it's like we're going with the same platforms here.
It's like when the freshman just comes in and immediately wins like the starting job, and the 4-year guy's like, I've been here the whole time. You like me.
Yeah.
Hulu beat them for the best drama series at the Emmys. Possibly Apple's gonna beat them at the Oscars for Best Picture. And then just some last cons here. Director and picture have been splitting a lot, especially since the last few years. And since 2012, there's only been 5 matches. So if Campion's gonna win director, the film might not win picture. And then for Screen Actors Guild, it didn't get even an ensemble nom. The big players got individual ones, but it didn't win, or it didn't even have a nomination for SAG. Yet Coda not only got a nomination, it won. So the actors like this film. And yeah, I just think like it's just the timing. The timing is so key, especially with an awards race that just keeps lasting longer and longer. You have to peak at the right time. And I think Coda peaked at the right time as they're voting right now. So there we go. Will win, Coda, Dark Horse, Power of the Dog. Real quick, the other nominees for Best Picture. Is there anything else you want to say about any of the other nominees here? Anything going on here? Belfast, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, West Side Story. Is there something that should have been in?
I will say
deserve to be in.
Nightmare Alley does not deserve to be in this category whatsoever.
I was surprised that it made it in. I mean, because it really didn't get much love anywhere else.
There's just so many other movies. Throw in Pig, Nicolas Cage.
Thank you.
It's a big respect for Guillermo del Toro. I'm really surprised that instead of Nightmare Alley, Tick Tick Boom wasn't nominated.
I was just about to say that. I
was
thought
really
Tick Tick Boom should be in there as one of the 10 for sure.
Then you have 2 musicals, and they would probably be like, "Oh, we can't have 2 musicals, so I'll vote down my favorite musical," and then they leave out Tick Tick Boom. But yeah, I mean, think about it, guys. Like a year ago or 2 years ago, when they delayed, I think West Side Story was supposed to come out in 2020. I might be wrong about that.
I think most of these. I think Dune was,
right.
King
So
Richard maybe even too.
Yeah, and like the discussion was like Spielberg is redoing West Side Story. It's probably going to win Best Picture. Then here we are, 2 years or 1 year later, and it's just like, it's like not even in the consideration. So I just always find that stuff very funny. But I mean, if it's a chaos Oscars and we go like Dune wins all the below the line awards, and it just all of a sudden has this like big like Titanic-esque thing, like I just don't see that happening. But it is just kind of funny how it's going to win probably the most awards of the night, and we're not even discussing it for Best Picture either.
Yeah, I'm shocked that like Dune didn't get the director one is the one that really shocks me. I don't understand. Sure, I didn't love Dune. I liked Dune, but like I don't understand how a film can be nominated in every category: visual effects, from score to sound to production design to picture to everything. Who did all that? Who did all the work? oh, that guy doesn't exist. He should be one of the 5 people nominated for Best Director. I'm shocked that he's not up there for Dune. But
I also feel like King Richard is like a Coda equivalent. I bet they hope for that kind of hype because they almost seem very similar in nature. So I wonder if they were hoping for the hype of that to come up, and I think it was too soon. Soon. I was actually surprised to see how many nominations it got,
Yeah, I wonder if it was like the release thing because it had that weird HBO thing. But then again, Dune also had the same thing where day and date in theaters. But at least Dune, it didn't make a ton of money. It made a good amount of money, but King Richard, I don't think did that well at all at the box office. So yeah, I don't know if it's just something with that because after a month on HBO Max, it's only in theaters for a long time, and then it goes back to HBO Max. So if you don't see it in that first month, whenever it came out in October or whatever it was, you can't see it unless you go to theaters. And if you have to find the theater because it's been out for 4 or 5 weeks at that point. But, yeah. For me, and I won't go on too long because I already said my piece a little bit. I don't think Don't Look Up. I had an issue with just that film. That's just I like Adam McKay when it comes to Succession or The Big Short, but I really had issues with Vice. I just thought Don't Look Up, but you could hear it in our review. I just thought for this supposed to be a hard hit and satire. I don't think it was hard hitting, and I don't think it was funny enough. I wanted so much more with that cast, with that talent. I just thought this thing should be just a laugh riot. It should be a parody, a satire, everything. And I don't think it was there.
It was because it was like funny, but it was never. It wasn't like a laugh riot.
And the jokes
there was a couple
pretty easy for jokes when you're parodying, the world that we're living in right now.
You could almost see the drop off in quality between theater and Netflix. And I really liked Don't Look Up. I liked it amongst all of us, but I am also kind of a realist when it comes to movies I like to, and understand why some people didn't like it. It had that kind of Netflixy thing to it that Vice and The Big Short didn't have, if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. I think that is it for the Oscars. I think that's all we have to say, at least in this show. That's our top 8 predictions. We're going to have some other predictions available on Twitter and on Instagram. We'll post them. There'll be special videos of some extra categories. And of course, we'll have all of our picks posted on social media so you can see a ballot of all the picks there. But next week, unfortunately, without the good and the bad and watchable, we will be back on Monday to recap the Oscars that are this weekend and review possible shows like Atlanta, Minx, and We Crashed. We'll figure out 1 or 2 of those to talk about next week on the podcast. We'll go back to TV, our normal stuff here. I want to ask for you guys, how can people listen to The Good, the Bad, and the Watchable to get everything they need about movies?
So you find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Good, Bad, Watchable. We're on there. Anchor, which is one of those popular like podcasting hosting app, has a bunch of lists and places of where you can listen to our podcast. Tweet at us, GBW Pod, if you want us to upload our podcast to YouTube. I know that's a popular thing, or Twitch. Let us know. And you can also follow us on Instagram, GBW Pod as well. We like to take people's recommendations and blast them out, and so other people can see what other people are watching. So
sounds good. Yeah, you always have something. I always love getting on because there's times where, a lot of times we have, two hosts with exactly the same opinions, but then you guys, y'all have Boyle loving a movie and then Marc ready just to trash it. And it's just like, it's so good to see those fights,
Oh yeah. We get Boyle, we and Marc, we get into it a lot on some things. We're just
absolutely.
Not only are you wrong, but I hate you and you're stupid.
Yeah.
And then like 5 minutes later,
it's all malicious. There's personal attacks involved.
Nobody's off camera.
Oh yeah, no, it's nasty. It's a lot of turmoil on our side, but makes for good pods.
And if you want more Dual Redundancy, of course, you can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the blog, dualredundancy.com, and we're on Twitch, twitch.tv/Dual Redundancy. Usually Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back on Monday to talk about TV and the Oscar recap. You can follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram at Dual Redundancy. And I got to thank everybody on this pod tonight. First, I want to thank John for not only directing the show. so much goes into directing the Oscar show with the images, the sound clips, the Twitch stream with 6 people on it. He has that. He has the audio he's going to put up on Apple Podcasts. I couldn't do it without John, and I couldn't do it without everyone here, especially the good, the bad, and the watchable, for joining us tonight. And I guess Kyle for putting up with all my antics.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you see how much the credentials fall off? It's like guy who does everything, guy who's here. That's how it works.
Well, until next time, let's see if we could do this here. I'm David Allen.
I'm John Berwick.
I'm Kyle Bridger.
I'm Nick Boyle.
I'm Marc DeSisto.
And I'm Nick Rojas.
And that's all we got for Dual Redundancy's 11th annual Oscar prediction special. Goodbye, everybody.